harbour the bush rangers and hide them and defend them. So there was a bit of a tradition of that in the bush ranging era.
And McCabe, who was shot by Starlight at Ingonia and died there a month after, when they were putting a memorial that's now in the cemetery, they were going to originally put it in Ingonia, but he said, well, what's the point of putting it there where there's people with so much ill will against the police who will desecrate it? And so he said, I hope someone has common sense and moves to Burke.
Okay. And I think the guy that shot the policeman in Burke, Armitage, I think, they wouldn't let him, the locals wouldn't have him buried in the cemetery, they wouldn't have a marker.
They filled in the grave and buried him elsewhere.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's quite a lot of argument about both sides. Sorry, Dan.
So is this a memorial or a tombstone?
Well,
not sure.
Yes and no. Probably is the answer. Just while we're on Ogilvie, there's a little poem about him, and then Hully's got a song, I think, about Ben Hall. If the lonely graves are scattered, it's called the Graves Out West. If the lonely graves are scattered in that fenceless, vast God's acre, if no church bells chime across them and no mourners tread between, yet the souls of those sound sleepers go as swiftly to their Maker, and the ground is just as sacred and the graves is just as green. If we chant no solemn dirges to the virtue of their living, if we sing no hymn words o'er them in the glory of the stars, if we sing no hymn words o'er them in the glory of the stars, they can hear a grander music than ever was ours for giving. God's choristers invisible, the winds in the beliers. If we set them no marble, if none the less we love them, it is none the less we love them. If we carved 1,000,000 columns, could it bring them better rest? If no gentle hands have fashioned snow-white wreaths to lay above them, God has laid his own wildflowers on the lonely graves out west. It's kind of a nice little poem. Probably not so much for bushrangers, but certainly for a lot of people who died, like we saw yesterday. Ben Hall, I was telling the folks on the bus, his wife ended up at Ford's Bridge. He went away with a copper, married him, and left Ben Hall. And Ben Hall's story, I think Hully's got it. And this is Ogilvie's poem about it, is it?
No, but that's not the poem that I had in mind, that one that you found in that book. But I've just got a generic sort of bushranger song. I sort of wrote it a bit about Ben Hall, and I'll try and convert it to this one a little bit on the way, if you like.
So just give a little segue there. I know in that book of Meredith's, he has a whole chapter that I think Ogilvie certainly saw Ben Hall as a bit of a hero, like he was a romantic sort of hero for the Bushmen, I think, because he was a horseman and that sort of style, young cavalier sort of guy.
So excuse my bad singing, but the words should count more. First you come to dealing with your memories. Put away the things you can't forget. And then you find a place to hide those feelings deep inside. Then you turn your mind to your regret. There's a light outside a window in Wiego, and the shadows grow long on the eastern side. And as the chances of that day slowly fade away, the only thing that's left to do is right. But the world was never round, you always knew there'd be hills to climb, valleys to go through. So the road you ride upon is never straight nor level. Somewhere in the detail there's a devil. Those who know your name for what you've taken, and those for what you chose to leave behind. Whether blessing or a curse, the gold that's in your purse is not enough to buy your peace of mind. Now the fire that keeps you safe will not warm you. The fire that keeps you warm, it will not hide. And the chances of the day slowly fade away. The only thing that's left to do is ride high. The world was never round, you always knew there'd be hills to climb, valleys to go through, and the road you ride upon is never straight nor level. Somewhere in the detail there's a devil.